Hello and welcome to Model Dads. Today we're going to cast our eye over Neil Thomas's 1 hour Wargames, available from Pen and Sword for $12.99 or less. Now, I'm not a Napoleonic gamer, so I've not heard of Mr. Thomas before, but was attracted by the title and the author's contention, outlined in Chapter 1, that contemporary commercially available wargames and the associated Wargames press peddle the assumption that hobbyists have both the time, space and budget to field hundreds of well-painted metal figures on dedicated 8x5 tables. This, as Mr. Thomas suggests, is an ideal rather than a reality. Instead, Mr. Thomas proposes practical wargames, ones that can, preferably, be played after school or work on a 3x3 table in less than an hour with fewer than 100 figures per side. With this refreshingly honest approach established, the author goes on to outline, over the next 18 chapters and 2 appendices, how a simple set of rules can be applied to 9 major periods and 30 scenarios. Skipping forward to the World War II rules, a tweaked version of those that run throughout the 9 periods, the author identifies 4 simple unit types: infantry, mortars, AT guns and tanks, all with their own movement distances. In a typical turn, units may move or shoot at anything within 12 inches and within line of sight. Mortars are the only exception to this rule and can fire 48 inches at anything within spotting distance of 12 inches. Combat is resolved on a simple matrix through the roll of a d6 modified by cover. Units are destroyed or broken after taking 15 hits. Simple but effective, ideal for newcomers, endlessly modifiable by more experienced players. 30 scenarios follow, designed to be played in any period on a table measuring 3x3 feet within an hour. Forces are not selected but allocated on the roll of a dice, which I personally think is a nice touch. Scenarios include a conventional pitched battle, but also a flank attack, escape, static defence and last stand type engagements, and include reinforcement schedules, special rules and victory conditions, as well as their historical source of inspiration and recommended further reading. Brief chapters follow on campaigns and solo wargaming before closing on recommended background reading for each of the 9 periods, along with the useful addresses for figure manufacturers. If I'm honest, I didn't think I was going to like this book. It reminded me of some of those Donald Featherstone or Bruce Quarry classics that I borrowed from the public library in the 70s, but which nowadays, in an age of expanding choice and escalating costs, seem quaintly out of date. But the ethos that runs through the text, the belief that you can and should game accessibly, affordably and enjoyably, remains true. These are exactly the sort of principles that every newcomer to wargaming could benefit from being introduced to. I'll be using these World War II rules with my 7-year-old over the seasonal period as he attempts to mash my powers with his tigers. Recommended.